Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, I touched on the raising of Lazarus. And in John's Gospel, chapter 12, we see that the crowd that was following Jesus was greatly influenced by his raising of Lazarus. That whole event, even, Martha and Mary sort of saying, no, you're too late and everything like that. And eventually, Lazarus comes out of the tomb, even with the bandages and so forth, all the cloths and so forth on him. So in other words, he had been dead for a while. He'd been put away. He'd been embalmed and put into the tomb. So it was quite a startling thing for people to experience, and the crowd was greatly influenced by that. We see subsequent to that Jesus arriving at Bethlehem, and the people enact what we enacted on Sunday, that they throw branches in front of him, and Jesus comes riding in, not on a magnificent horse as a king would come in, and not as a donkey, as sometimes we say, but they say on an ass, which would have been a mule. In other words, a real workhorse. It's not a horse, but it would have been an animal of labor, not the brightest thing. But Jesus rode on that mule, coming into Bethlehem, saying, "You want a king? This is the kind of king that I am." And yet people still cheered, and they still put branches down and let him ride through. And this is the kind of mob that we have, maybe a confused bunch, who's saying, he raised people from the dead, and now he's coming in dressed as a king, but he's not that kind of king. And so the people they either had confusion or didn't have conviction or whatever. But the Pharisees' reaction, look, the whole world has gone after him. In spite of the way that Jesus has come in, people have been convinced, and some have come around, and some follow him, maybe even mindlessly. But they say, because it's a whole crowd, let's go and see what's happening. It's kind of like, I'm sometimes skeptical about people who support soccer teams or rugby sides or whatever, which are not from their own area. So I say, well, that's very nice that you support that soccer team. Have you ever been there? No, they haven't. They've just been sold on the concept. And so people who wear different color soccer jerseys and so forth, well, that's very nice, you're supporting them. But all you're doing is you're buying their branding. You've been taken in. And they say, no, it's because of the soccer, they're great players and everything. Okay, maybe they play well. But they've been brought in on that crowd mentality. It's in this environment that Jesus openly declares that he is sent by the Father. This is the Jesus that we encounter leading up to Good Friday. Have a wonderful day. Keep safe. God bless. Bye-bye.